Hello, my friends. Here I am, late. Much later than I thought. What the heck? Late, but here. Ghost has been gone for 5 minutes. I'm already a mess. It's that type of week. Faded Stardust, hello. Congrats on first today. How is it going? Mad Lad is here. Rai Jones is here. And Pi here with the save alert. I'll hit the save button. Even though I have not yet written anything in my document. Saved and safe. Here we are. It is Tuesday. Ghost Pepper has left for camp. Cheers, Mad Lad. A fresh hot sip of coffee. Pie, it's a community first. It's for everybody. There's nice redeems that you can get even if you don't get first. Also, what is this emote? That's crazy. Is that that reminds me of the thing from Mystery Science Theater. Gonna miss most of today. I have yet another medical appointment, so I'll be leaving in about 30 minutes. Well, good luck, Faded Stardust. You'll basically be here for the opening monologue, which I guess is what we do in the morning, and then we'll get into the clicky clackies. But I hope everyone had a fabulous weekend. I walked out this morning. It was actually a long weekend here in Canada, although I didn't take the long weekend. I usually just work pretty consistently aside from whichever weeks I have set aside as breaks. And I walked out this morning to see that Ghost had packed his toiletries bag to go to camp. And he did not put it in the suitcase. He put it beside the suitcase on the chair, and he forgot it. So I very quickly texted him and was like, so you left your toiletries bag, because I didn't want him reaching into his suitcase tonight, like getting ready for bed, to be like, oh no, I don't have anything. And he texted me back that he was able to get things sorted out. So I assume that either they stopped, like they arranged to stop on the way to camp so that he could buy something quick at a corner store, because they do that a lot. Students forget stuff, teachers forget stuff. He sassed one of his colleagues in the past for being the one to forget his toothbrush, so he'll be the one sassed this time. He'll be the sassy instead of the sasser this time. But I assume that they arranged for him to stop and get something, or, you know, found some extras or something that he can make use of while he's away. But I walked out first thing in the morning and I was like, oh no! I'll get my Megan tangent of the day and then I'll leave you. Some might say that the tangent is like probably the best part of stream. I don't know. Personally, I don't know how interesting the productivity parts of the stream are. So I'm assuming the part at the beginning where I just go way down whatever rabbit hole we end up talking about is probably the best part of stream. Oh! I just whacked my fingertips against the edge of my desk. That hurt. That's my superpower in action right there, is smacking things that I think I have clearance to be away from. Peter, welcome in. All hail the Feral Queen. I did get an early start on the Feral this week, not gonna lie. He is here. Surprised she's on time today. I mean, I think I hit the start stream button at 10:39, but it was 10:54 before I was on camera. So you decide how on time that is. Veil Wraith, hello. I'll slip it in there between Peter and Key. Reject tangent, embrace opening monologue. Listen, I just said I think the opening monologue is probably the best part of the stream. I bet he wasn't the only one to forget. Yeah, listen, when you're going to camp with a bunch of teens, there's always forgotten stuff. So my hope, no, Key! Taking back your confidence in me, how rude. Well deserved though, I deserve it. So yeah, my hope was that I texted him in time for him to get into the corner store stop. Because when you're going to camp with a bunch of teens, people are gonna forget stuff. It's just kind of inevitable. It's only 2 nights. He's only gone tonight and tomorrow night, and then he'll be home for dinner on Thursday. We've already planned to order in for Thursday night dinner so that he can just come home, take a shower, put on his PJs, kick up his feet, and eat, you know, some nice fried food, nice fried comfort food, and not have to worry about anything. Because then he'll have to go teach on Friday, which is, you know, probably after being completely on for 3 days and not really having a break, he'll have to go back in and teach on Friday. So we want that Thursday night to be as relaxing as possible. That sounds like something someone who works with words would do. Are you telling me Megan does words? Sometimes I do. Sometimes words do me, which is not as fun. It's more, this is the Tonight Show starring Megan Cutler. This is the opening monologue. Then we throw to the band, go to break, and then Megan talks to Justin Timberlake for 0 reason. Listen, however you guys want to imagine this to make it more exciting, I'm for it. It's really just me stumbling in here on 2 sips of coffee to be like, hey, how are you guys? To talk about things going on in my life. Oh, speaking of things going on in my life, I finished the octopus. I didn't finish it 100%, okay? The octopus isn't 100% finished, but I finished the base cross stitch, okay? So the base cross stitch is finished. You can see the pattern. This is what he looks like. He still needs outline details and a whole bunch of French knots. But I'm really happy with this so far. I actually would just, like, put this on the wall as it is. It's gonna look way nicer. I mismarked, so you can also see here, I mismarked the center of the canvas. So it is not centered. I'm lucky that this part up here fit on there. But you can see that he's done. The base cross stitch is done. And he looks really good. He looks quite different, different in many ways from the reference picture that I used, but it looks pretty good, and I'm really happy with it. This is my first time attempting, like, my own pattern. I know I was copying another pattern, but it's the first time, like, I've done a layout and, like, planned out everything and then gone through and stitched it. So I'm just really happy with it, you guys. I'm just really, really, really happy. This guy was a pain in the butt to stitch. This was my first time doing half stitches. There were a lot of half stitches, and what would often happen is I would do them going in the wrong way. I would look at the reference picture, I would very carefully plan out which way the half stitch was to go, and I would do it in the wrong direction. So there was a lot of ripping out and redoing. There was a lot of stuff accidentally ending up in the wrong place, needing to be redone. But I'm very, very happy with this. Very happy with it. My teacup looks darker. It's not quite as bright, but it looks kind of like old-timey porcelain, which I kind of like for my teacups. And I'm just really happy. I'm just really happy with it. So there we go. That's going on the shelf for a little while to get a break taken from it, because I'm sick of looking at it now. And I'm working a little bit more. I'm adding some more details to Joe's Gengar. So you can kind of see this is what I'm working on now. So I very heavily modified this pattern as well to get these little Gengars in the center. And now I'm doing some starbursts. There's going to be some starbursts around the outside. And then I'm going to potentially do some details on the, like, I'm gonna give them eye details. I'm making this up as I go. The starbursts are on the pattern, but the rest I'm making up as I go. So, Octo progress! So there you go. That's what I've been up to in my life. That's what's been happening. Phrasing? What did I... Now I'm so far away from what I said that upset Key that I just don't even know. I don't even know what I said that can be taken out of context. Isn't Gengar the dinosaur from Rugrats? Faded Stardust is correct. That is Reptar. Reptar! Reptar is like, the Godzilla of... Oh, the word's doing you. Sometimes you wrestle the bear, and sometimes the bear wrestles you. It's the same with words. It's not wrong. Gengar is in fact Joe's favorite Pokemon. So that is why Joe is getting a Gengar pattern. A brief rant about The Tonight Show. Johnny Carson had the word starring in his title because he was a star. Jay and Conan used with out of respect for Johnny, but Jimmy Fallon used starring because the poor deluded clown thinks he's a star. I have no opinion on The Tonight Show or Jimmy Fallon. And I'm touched that you think I'm a star. There is star in my name, so... Vinyl! Hello, my dear. How's it going? How are you? I also watched a lot of Rugrats as a wee one. And then I grew up and learned that, hang on, I'm getting a little bit blinded here. I grew up and watched some Doctor Who, and I learned that the people who made the Rugrats essentially designed it as to be Doctor Who for kids, and that's why Tommy runs around with a screwdriver all the time. That's literally the reason why he has a screwdriver, is because they're emulating the sonic screwdriver. So if you, like me, watched a lot of Rugrats when you were a kid, now you know that it was literally Doctor Who for babies. I know, right? Right, Faded Stardust? As soon as someone says it, you're like, oh my god. And so, because I think it was Ghost Pepper pointed it out at first. He was like, I wonder, because Tommy Pickles always had a screwdriver. And so I looked it up, and the show writers have confirmed that they were inspired by Doctor Who, and that they very purposefully gave Tommy the screwdriver because it represents the sonic screwdriver. And then the other babies are like his companions. Chucky's like the cautious one. This makes so much sense for why there were so many Doctor Who fans. Yeah, we were primed. We were primed in our youth to be Doctor Who fans. My favorite Pokemon is Jean-Luc Picard. Jean-Luc Pikachu. I grew up on the Rugrats. Doug and the Rugrats, I kind of remember when they debuted, because I was over at my grandma's house, and she's like, there's 2 new shows for us to try. And so for the longest time, I'd go over to her house every week on Friday night, and we'd watch Doug and the Rugrats, and that was like my Friday night thing. And I loved it. And Rugrats has a lot of staying power, because it actually teaches kids stuff, you know? It is for real. You can look it up and confirm this. I'm not joshing you. I feel personally betrayed that I never knew this. I didn't know it as a kid either. Scriblins, hello, welcome in. I didn't know it as a kid either. It wasn't until we watched Doctor Who that we were like, huh, there's a lot of similarities between the Rugrats and what they do on Doctor Who. And then I actually looked into it, and you can find, they're old now. They're very old articles. I think it might mention it on Wikipedia as well. There are old articles about the creators of the show coming out and saying that they were inspired by Doctor Who, and they basically wanted to make a kids version. They obviously didn't have the licensing, so it's, you know, it's not a one-to-one. But Tommy runs around with a plastic screwdriver. That's how they get out of the playpen. I remember a meme where they compared Tommy Pickle's father with Spike from Cowboy Bebop. Oh, I haven't seen that one. I might have to look into that. The Doug theme is heckin' excellent. I did like Doug. Doug didn't get as much staying power, I think, as the Rugrats. It wasn't quite as, like, classic, but it did eventually spin off onto another network and get some movies and stuff, so... the key combo of Doug and the Rugrats was like, that was my era of growing up. Doug and the Rugrats and Rocko's Modern Life, which my family at the time could not understand why I liked that show so much, because they were like, it's so gross. And I'm like, what do you mean it's gross? It's about a cute little wallaby and his nasty toad neighbors. And they're all cute little animals. And there's a turtle. There's a hypochondriac turtle. And then I grew up and I'm like, yeah, actually that show was probably pretty gross. Because then by the time Invader Zim came along, I couldn't watch it because it was too gross. King of the Hill was also very good. I didn't watch King of the Hill until I was an adult, though. That's more of a grown-up cartoon. Doug and the Rugrats were my shows. Heck yeah, Faded Stardust. Same. I also confused the Doug theme and the Arthur theme for years. Arthur was another really good show. Underappreciated. Doug was so good, especially the band he liked. The Beats. I love Killer Tofu. Yes! Doug was, I think, a chronically underappreciated show. I like, too, his sister is, like, his older sister is, like... He's, like, I think, supposed to be, like, a middle schooler, and she's, like, a high schooler, and she's, like, really artsy-fartsy, and she has all these arty friends. I loved that show. A crossover. Dugrats! Doug babysits the Rugrats. That would have been so cool. The episode of Rocko's Modern Life that I always remember was... They did this big, special for... Because usually episodes of Rocko were, like, really short, I think, because they would do 2 in the time slot, and it's like a half-an-hour time slot, right? So these are like 10-minute episodes, I think, if I'm remembering properly. But they did a whole like half-an-hour-long block special about recycling, and I still to this day remember, because that was how I learned how to spell certain words. So they did these big musical numbers, and it was R-I-C-Y-C-L-E, recycle, C-O-N-S-E-R-V-E, conserve, W-P-O-L-L-U-T-E, pollute our river, sky, or sea, or else you're gonna get what you deserve. I still remember that song! I don't remember Pepper Ann. I vaguely remember, like, the existence of it, but I don't remember watching it. Mama had the chicken, Mama had the cow, Dad was proud, he didn't care how. That song is from the early 90s. Back when there was a big push. That was back in, like, the Captain Planet era, too, right? There was a big push towards getting people to embrace recycling, because it wasn't something that was, like, a regular part. Like, now you go out and there's recycle bins everywhere, and every house has a recycle bin and all that. But back then, that wasn't necessarily the case. That was when they were still trying to push it. And so, of course, you got to get the kids in on it early. A 115 stream streak. I don't know what you mean, almost 12. 115 stream streak for Pi. Thank you so much for hanging out. You can't... Yes, you can't fight City Hall. Rocko's Modern Life was just so good. I know it was like a gross kids show, but it was so good. My brothers came up more in the SpongeBob SquarePants era. So, like, their big shows when they were kids were, like, Darkwing Duck and the Biker Mice from Mars and SpongeBob SquarePants was like more their time. But for me, it was like the Rugrats, Rocco's Modern Life, Captain Planet. Like, those were my shows. Oh man, I still remember the original Reading Rainbow too, which I think was in Syndicate when I was young. I think it was reruns. I don't think they were doing new episodes, but I remember Reading Rainbow back in the day. Dropped a picture in the memes with the comparison of Stu Pickles with Spike Spiegel. I mean, I definitely can see it in the hair. Oh my god, it's more. Wow! I didn't realize it was that. Wow! So basically, the people who made Rugrats were closet nerds and they were just preparing kids to like all the shit that they liked when they get older. That's funny. Early SpongeBob is so good. I have a fondness for SpongeBob SquarePants, but it wasn't one of my, like, big shows, because I was too old for it at the time. It makes sense that we have all the same shows. We're only 2 years apart. Thanks for the nostalgia vibes. Heck yeah! I mean, again, I don't know how we get on these tangents, but I appreciate them. Sardonisms, hello, welcome in. I don't even know, how did we... Oh, Reptar. Gengar and Reptar. That was how we got onto the Rugrats. Oh, man. I liked that they basically went to, like, the equivalent of Tokyo Disney in the Rugrats movie, right? And there was a big Reptar the musical. Because Reptar is, like, their version of Godzilla. So there was, like... And that was because Chucky was looking for a new mom, and he was like, the princess who tames Reptar, she'd be the perfect mom. I did watch Mighty Morphin Power. I watched the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers when I was a kid, and our parents took us to one of the stage shows. We actually saw a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers show live. I was like 12. It was like peak. That was, I think, my first, like, big stage, like, live theater show was the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Given it a bit more time, but the sleep aid might not work. I have not felt awake at all the last 2 days. Oh no, sardonisms, I'm sorry to hear that. A later animated series I enjoyed was Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go. I'm aware of that show, but I didn't watch it. There were a couple things... that my brothers watched later on that I was, like, tangentially aware of that I really liked, but didn't get super into because I was too old. There was a Jackie Chan animated cartoon show. I think it was just, like, Jackie Chan Adventures or something like that my brothers watched that me and Ghost kind of, like, tangentially were aware of because it was on TV all the time. And that was pretty good. I also really liked Dexter's Laboratory, but I kind of missed Powerpuff Girls. I kind of missed the Powerpuff Girl train. But I really liked Dexter's Lab. Jackie Chan Adventures was really good. It was like a really... Dropout is launching a TV channel. I did not see that. Is that going to be, like, on cable? But, it was, like, really minimal animation, but it was so good. I remember the grandpa in Jackie Chan Adventures. Man, what a trip down memory lane. I remember in, like, middle school, because when I hit, you know, like, 5th, 6th grade, that was when I was, like, old enough to stay home alone if I got sick, right? So there would be, like, cup noodles in the pantry, and if I was sick, my mom would just be like, feed yourself lunch at some point, and would just, you know, leave me to rest. And I remember, like, the big things that I would always watch when I was home from school sick were, like, The Price is Right. I had to watch The Price is Right. That was your sick day, like, must-have watch. So I would watch The Price is Right. And fucking The Magic School Bus was on, like, mid-morning. And I'd be like, I'm sick. I'm going to watch The Magic School Bus and The Price is Right. Dropout 24/7. It's on their website and will be available with ads without a sub. Interesting. What, like, what kind of content are they gonna have on there? Magic must defeat magic. Dexter's Lab and Powerpuff Girls are both really good. I didn't see a lot of Powerpuff Girls, but I did like Dexter's Lab. Dropout is doing good work over here on the internet. Fun story. That show is where I learned the word exercise. The Jackie Chan one. Just remembered Major Glory and the Justice Friends. Also outside of my time zone, I think. My time zone. My childhood zone. Starting with a marathon of all the D20 seasons, and then it will be a rotating schedule of all their shows. Interesting. So where is this TV station gonna be? There are definitely things from our youth that didn't age well. Faded Stardust, for sure. I feel the same way. I don't want to go too deeply down this rabbit hole, but I kind of feel the same way about the original Jackie Ventura movie. Or not Jackie Ventura, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. When I was a kid, I really loved that movie. And then I watched it once as an adult because I had forgotten it. And when I got to the ending, I was like, ooh, this is really bad, and it hasn't aged well, and I can kind of see why there was some distancing from some of the people who were involved in it later on in their careers. So there's definitely things from that time period that have not aged well. Oh, interesting. So they're going to have, like, a part of their platform that you can watch without subscription, but you don't get to, like, choose the schedule. Villain dude with the slick back hair shows up at Jackie's place one episode and goes, I want him exercised. And the little cousin girl also didn't know the word and goes, we're supposed to help him get in shape? I think Mojo Jojo was from one of those shows. Again, it was kind of at the edge of, like, my childhood. Like, I was starting to move on to watching more teenage stuff at that point. That's when I was starting to watch Are You Afraid of the Dark? And Nick at Night, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Started watching SG-1, and I watched the OG movie first, and wow, the things that aged poorly, the 90s were wild. Man, talking about SG-1, though, that, James Spader as, fucking, Daniel Jackson. Forever that era of, James Spader in my brain. So good. One Vamp, hello! Haven't seen you in a while. Mojo Jojo was one of the Powerpuff Girls villains. They had a bit of a rogues gallery going on by the end. Yeah, I think there was a bunch of different villains in Powerpuff Girls. I do remember Mojo Jojo. I watched The Simpsons, like, back in the day, but I'm not a huge fan of it. We like Futurama more. We have to watch the new season. We watched our way through the archives of Futurama. I like Futurama a little bit more because it's slightly more intelligent in its comedy than The Simpsons. Yeah, I mean, Futurama has episodes that are just silly stupid, but I do like the intelligent stuff. Need to head out for my appointment. Faded Stardust, thank you so much for hanging out and for reminding me it's about time to switch over into work mode now that we've gone down the nostalgia lane. of all the things that we watched in our childhood. It's really magical when you find someone who's like your exact time period of like cartoon age, because you remember all the same stuff. Ghost and I are slightly out of sync because he's a couple years older than me, and he grew up in Canada, so there were different shows on at different times. So he and I are like slightly out of sync in our really early like childhood like TV shows that were the shows that we nostalgia about. He's slightly behind me in terms of like which shows we really connected with. It's really magical when you find someone who was like watching the exact same shows as you growing up. Why would you remind her to stop gabbing? I'd have looked at the clock eventually. Canadian TV is such a weird place. I know, because it's a weird mix of American TV and Canadian produced TV. I have no idea like what shows were on in Canada when I was a kid, because I was raised in the States. Reboot was a Canadian show, and I do remember Reboot. Never really heard of VeggieTales until our best friend Victoria introduced me to it, and then I was like, wow, so much. I, again, was only tangentially aware of VeggieTales because I had a friend who went to a church that watched it. Like, they watched it at their church. Canadian TV is produced for about $3 in a box of Timbits. Not wrong. You're not wrong. Coming into a slightly more modern era, but also weirdly related to what we've been talking about, we're going to be working on My Little Domerin today. I'm actually working on getting out the next Arvalia Chronicles book. The pre-order for the ebook is all set up and good to go, but I need to start working on the paperback tonight. So my schedule is a little bit backwards from what we usually do to accommodate me getting some pre-order book work stuff done in the evenings. So we're going to be working on, I know it was on the schedule as episode 8. I keep forgetting that I'm one ahead on the schedule from where we actually are. We're actually on the second half of episode 7. So we're doing episode 7, act 2 today. I have a plan for this one, and I feel like it's going to kind of wrap up the initial story arc. I don't know if we're at the halfway point. I want to believe we're at the halfway point of this story. It's, as you can see down below, it's 56,000 words already. I'd really like to be at the halfway point. It might only be the third of the way through, but I'm really hoping this is the halfway point. So this is kind of 7 episodes is kind of like, it's taking us to, sort of a turning point. We've completed like the first part of this story, and we're going to be moving into what is hopefully the second half to wrap that up. I have a little bit less of an idea of what I want to do with the second half. It's a little bit more nebulous, but hopefully as we get into it, it will resolve itself, and I'll be able to see the path to the end without it being like 20 million chapters long. Definitely feeling good about how the story has gone so far and where we've gotten to. So we're going to be doing that today. As usual, we're going to be doing our 3 30-minute sprints with 15-minute breaks in between. And if you would like to redeem a spirit companion in a location or an activity to do during one of those sprints, you can go ahead and find those in the down below. Let me catch up, because as I'm talking, I'm falling behind on chat. Been a lot lately. Got a new job, quit the new job, bought an apartment. Now I'm studying digital marketing, starting my second book, and planning for the release of the first. Well, good luck, One Vamp. Knowing how to market is going to be really helpful for you. I've never figured that out myself. Marketing is still my weak point. So good luck. I have been busy as a bee. This year has been a wild year already. It's halfway through February somehow. I keep feeling like I blink and miss half a month. It's crazy. But we're trucking along. We're getting things done. I've always felt that VeggieTales was blasphemous. Why, though? I don't have strong opinions about VeggieTales, but A couple of months ago, boyfriend was watching a video that the creator named it How Anime Turned Me Gay, and I heard some of the titles and I went, I didn't know we were the same age, and he checked and we're only 1 year apart. Dang. I would love to do an animated Domerin series, but someone else would have to animate it because it would just be stick figures if it was me. It would be like storyboard stick figures. In 30 years, people would be like, remember when we were kids and there was this elf that was just so grumpy? Man, I gotta say, Domerin and Greg would make a great Saturday morning cartoon duo. Like, Buddy Cop, James Spader as the voice of Domerin. I don't know if James Spader matches Domerin, but I do love me James Spader. It's funny because when I think about people who could play Domerin, like, on screen, I think Jason Momoa would make a great Domerin. Just putting that out there. I like how silly this fundraising incentive is getting so big it'll wrap up right around the time you need a new computer. I mean, listen, I already got refunded for the computer that we raised the money for, so kind of I'm giving you guys this for free now. I feel like I could need a new computer any second. Maybe I shouldn't feel that way, but I do feel that way. There's a part of me that is just living in a world where at any second I could need a new computer. It could happen. Key's like, it's fine. Also, Key told us on Saturday that you can turn your computer on with the penny. All you have to do is shock yourself slightly. I feel like that was how the conversation went. Domerin's stick figure will just have really big ears and a long braid, and that's how you know it's him. What do you mean it won't shock you? You said that you would feel it. On Saturday we asked you and you said it would tingle. And now you're like, just be wearing all rubber and you'll be fine. Did, I'm not, like, cutting out on stream, am I? I keep getting the welcome to chat thing from OBS. You all talked about electrocution without me. Did Wolf send you pictures? Did he actually, like, bust the thing? Did he actually bust the thing? Okay, good. It keeps doing the, like, connecting to chat thing, and every time it does that, I worry that the video drops out. He probably forgot. He's planning to stream tonight. I'll remind him. He probably forgot. Alright, guys. I know I missed some of the stuff in chat. If I missed a message that you guys said, I do apologize. I did not willfully ignore anybody. But I just feel like if we keep talking about Saturday morning cartoons from our childhood, we will be here for 3 hours just talking about that. And if you guys want to do that, that's cool. You guys can. But I gotta get some clicky clackies in, so I will be serenading you guys with clicky clackies here in a few minutes. While you guys do or do not continue that conversation is up to you. Yeah, I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna pop AFK, reheat my coffee, use the restroom. I encourage you guys to get up, move around, grab something to eat and or drink if you need to. Anything you need to do to get ready for productivity mode, because that is where we are headed next. This will be our biggest clicky clacky day, because we'll be editing for the next 2 days. We're shy, we get embarrassed about talking to each other. Y'all, it's fine. Everyone in this chat is so nice, and so wonderful, and so worthy of being hung out with. Your friends got you a cup warmer for Christmas. Heck yeah, I have one. It works better when my cup is, like, partially empty. But I do notice that it keeps my, like, when my thing is so tall that, like, right now, this part of the coffee is still getting cold. But once I get it down about halfway, it works a bit better. Just have to short the power button header and it will start. I should show how to test a power supply. Now that is sketch. He... Please don't electrocute yourself. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm gonna say. My preferred time for tea is if I drank this 30 seconds ago, it would have burned me. Same! If it's not burning my tongue, it's not hot enough. If you guys are like, why does Megan take a break after every sprint to reheat her coffee? That's why. You replaced your own car battery and it works? Heck yeah, sardonisms. I wouldn't know the first thing about that. Congrats. The Mug Enforcement Agency approves of this. Always gotta please the Mug Enforcement Agency. Alright guys, break time, and when I get back, clicky clacks. So if you want to redeem somebody to hang out with or some activity to do, get in on that now. Because once I lock it in, it's locked in. we're back. Sucks when the battery terminal on the wire somehow wriggles free of the cable. I know nothing about this sort of stuff, but I agree. Alright. I always forget that you can do stuff on the bed, so let's hang out on the bed. And, that's what I meant to click on, but we will grab pickles while we're in here. And let's see. I've been trying to use, I realized that there are a bunch of backgrounds that I've just like never really used. And I've never really tried this one. Spoopy. Interesting. I don't know if this is the best angle for this particular background, so maybe we'll save that one. There's also this weird nebulous thing. I don't know where this is, what this is even supposed to be, but it's basically just like a weird nebulous color background. That seems chill. Let's try that. Yes. I took my slippers off in the game because I've been hanging out on the bed more. All right. Let's get your timer up. I don't think it is outer space, because there's a different outer space one. I think this is just like a nebulous, I feel like this one is just a nebulous blur, because there it is without the effects. It's like a bubble space. It's really weird. Which is one of the reasons why I don't use it very often. But I guess it's just supposed to be like a soft, chill color background? I guess it's not really supposed to look like anything? Reminds me of the abject fear of being 150 miles from home and the fuel pressure regular on my car trying to die. Luckily it started and ran just long enough to get home. Cars have great timing for those kinds of scares. Good golly. Technology just be that way sometimes. There is an outer space one. Yeah, you're right. I know exactly which one you're thinking of. It was, they added it for the Among Us background. But this is a different one. I've actually used that one quite a lot, the Among Us one. I don't know what this is supposed to be, but it's soft and chill, so I guess we'll hang out here for a hot second. We'll chill out on the bed with our friend Pickles. And I'm gonna go ahead and get the timer started. I think I have to peek one quick second at where I ended the last chapter. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. May the clacks be ever in your favor. thank you so much for the sub. Oh my goodness. I hope you're having a good day. Hey, Shadowbug. How's it going? Cheers. Need to figure out the 7 flavors of hell. The surviving Terrans bring Theris Prime in return for the scouring of Terra. Interesting. There are many mythological hells to choose from. It's going very well so far. We wrote 1,805 words that sprint, which is a considerable amount. Heck yeah. I'm hoping one of the problems that I have is I tend to devote a little too much time to getting to the main thrust of the scene. And when I'm writing a novel, it's okay if I meander a bit because I'll eventually just go back and cut all of it. But with something that's going on my blog, I tend to just be like whatever and post it. So hopefully I didn't spend like 1,000 words getting to the place when really I should have just been at the place to start with. But I think it's going well. I have 2 scenes that I want to do today. One of them will be very short, possibly just a couple 100 words long. So the main thrust of what we're working on today is this scene. And I do hope I can probably get either finished with it or close to the end of it during the next sprint. So I'm feeling pretty good about how it's going. Let's see what you guys have been up to while I've been writing. Seems kind of fantasy underwater type thing. Some of the floaties look like jellyfish. Oh, it didn't occur to me that they could be like jellyfish. It just kind of looks like bubbles to me. But yeah, I think I don't know exactly what it's supposed to be. Maybe like a fairy world or something? Because in the distance it almost looks like a city of some kind. I was trying to look for chat on the wrong screen. My, if you're still listening, I hope you're having a great work day. Need to figure out the 7 flavors of hell. I did read that one. There's so many more houses to choose from that we have not thought of or never realized could be from hell. All I know is about this is that civilians are off limits in this retribution. There are civilians in hell? Is this like an afterlife hell or like a in this real world hell? Trying to think of a not horse-shaped mythical creature that might be fun to ride. A dragon? Probably wouldn't work, but a wyvern might. A dragon? Woolly mammoth? They're not mythical, I guess. I guess those were real. They were real, they don't count. I want to show that humans can be demons, but they're not monsters. Interesting. Finally started writing my piece for Valentine's Day gift exchange I signed up for. Still haven't finished the Christmas one. It's been a struggle to get back into writing. Listen, anytime you do a full stop on writing, it's hard to get back in the groove. It takes time. You usually don't just instantly wake up one morning and be like, I'm gonna start writing again and write, like, 3,000 words. Like, it takes time. It takes so much time. You gotta work your way back into it. Gotta break it back in. Gotta break it back in. I have a line to share for my series notes. It's in a zoo. I'm not putting it in a dragon zoo. Okay, fine. Yeah, sure, Veilwraith. It's a war, one that Terrans are going to end. Oh, so it's not like... I thought you meant like a literal, like, afterlife hell. I thought we were talking about, like, characters have died and have gone to the afterlife and now they're in the afterlife doing stuff. I have not watched the music video, unfortunately, by Hayao Miyazaki. It's on my list, but honestly, I get distracted really easily when I'm not working, and things slip my mind. I don't know what we're talking about. I was updating my calendar, but every one of you needs beans, cheese, and mini sausages on toast. If you could just bring that over to my desk, Peter, I'd happily eat it. But if I have to cook it for myself, not gonna happen. Mostly because I don't have those things in my house. Humanity fell like meteors on Theros Prime and brought hell with them. The only line between life and death was the distinction of civilian from military or government. Interesting. So they're like really harsh punishments if you accidentally attack a civilian? I bring it for you, but I also remember you have little to no toes. What? Peter, why you do this to me? Why you do this to me? We do actually have cheese in the house. I don't have sausages. We do have cheese. Ghost has cheese. Ghost has the cheese. But it's his cheese. It's not my cheese. Halfway through marathon laundry day, I put off laundry for too long and now I have to face the consequences. Oh no, Scriblins! I know that all too well. I usually do all the laundry on Sunday, but we do have a backlog of blankets and stuff, like bedding that needs to be washed that I need to get on top of. I'm bad about that. I leave it. I leave it way longer than I should. Now that Ghost is away, Megan has the cheese. I won't eat Ghost's cheese, though, because it will hurt me. He won't hurt me. The cheese will hurt me. I read this Barbarian gay romance series last week, and I'm now just re-listening to the audiobooks for my favorite bits because I'm too tired to process new words. That's fair. I like to revisit my favorite scenes in books. I don't mind doing the laundry, I just hate putting it away. So do you just put, like, the pile of clean laundry in the middle of your bed or something, Peter? If a Terran was found to have harmed a civilian, they would be court-martialed publicly and maybe executed. Interesting. I laundry basket it. See, I like folded laundry. I don't like folding laundry, but I like folded and organized laundry, so gotta put it away. Listen, there are things that we gotta do on the reg that are really annoying. Laundry, dishes, anything involving cleaning, but I've just sort of come to terms with it in my adult life. Have any of you seen, there was a, I can't even remember where I saw this, but there was a short video that I watched like years ago, and it was a guy who was like, I have a magic table and everything I put on the table goes away. And then he's like, my girlfriend must have fallen on the table because she's gone. And he's like talking to these like two investigators, and he's like, I put stuff on the table and then it goes away and it just magically gets put away. And he's like, my girlfriend must have fallen on the table because she's gone. And of course the joke is that his girlfriend was putting everything away and then she left because he was useless. But whenever I have to clean, I always think of that. I always think of that video skit. Anyway, I am going to take a quick break. I'm going to pause the timer while I pop AFK. I'm going to use the restroom. I'm going to reheat my coffee and all that good stuff. If you'd like to redeem a spirit companion or a location or an activity for the next sprint, those are in the down below. Otherwise, when I get back, I'll just pick something and we'll randomly go hang out there. Hit the save button one more time here out of sheer paranoia. Don't forget to get up, move around, grab yourself something to eat and or drink if you need anything. And when I get back, we'll do the next round of Clicky Clacks. am returned from elsewhere in the house. Man, guys, it actually snowed here yesterday. Not for very long, and we didn't get very much. Just a very light dusting. Not even enough to cover the grass, but it did survive the night. So there's that. I don't have a house, but I do have a can of grapefruit, and it's kind of the same. What are you gonna do with your can of grapefruit, Peter? Oh my goodness. Let's go to the bay window. Oh, there is like actual, it looks like there's actual trees outside. I'm so intrigued by this background. I've just never really used it before. But let's see, this might be a better time to use this one? So we can have ultra green. What was it? A little more kind of normal. Kind of reddish. Interesting. Let's I don't know, let's just live in super green land. Let's go into super green territory. I didn't see that before I changed it. Sardonisms. We'll do Underwater City for the final sprint. Let's do knitting, just because I almost always do typing. And we'll hang out with our kitty. I might change his skin though. I want to buy Super Greenland off you. I don't actually own Super Greenland, I just visit. If I owned Super Greenland, I'm sure I would be happy to open it for all, but I don't. I think my stream is lagging behind because I'm on my computer and it lagged at one point and I don't think I can catch up unless I refresh. Probably, that does happen sometimes. If you lag a bit, it can fall behind. I've been in that sitch before. Which is probably why I didn't see your background before I changed it, but we'll do Underwater City for our final sprinty sprint. We'll go under the sea. Oh my goodness. How is it that it's Tuesday morning and I already just want to curl up and sleep for a weekend? Still have so much more of the week left to do. There was a hot second when I was making my coffee and I thought it was Wednesday. And I was like, we're halfway done with the week already. And then I was like, no, it's Tuesday. It's 100% Tuesday. We are not halfway through this week. I'll refresh my stream, gets to the next work sprint. That way I won't miss Chitty Chatty. I don't think I'm saying anything interesting, but that's fair. There is fertilizing to do. We must hide in blankets and bark at the mail delivery and roll in marinara sauce. I do have sad news for you, Peter. We have community mailboxes, which means they don't come to the door unless there's a package, and I'm not expecting a package. But I do like the idea of rolling other things in marinara sauce and then eating them. When we were younger, we used to go to the restaurant. Hang on, I'll pause this just in case this is a more than 53 second statement. We used to go to the restaurants and order a bunch of appies, like when we were teenagers, me and my band friends. That was our big thing, like before going to a football game on Friday night, we'd go to the local like pizza restaurant and order a bunch of appies. And there were two different things that we would get. It was, one of them came with marinara sauce, which was the cheese sticks, and one of them came with honey mustard. I can't remember if it was chicken nuggies or something else, but we would dip the cheese sticks in the mustard, in the honey mustard instead, and dip the like nuggies in the marinara sauce. Top notch. Top notch, man. Top notch. I have very few social outlets, and the stream is one of them, and I'm not skipping the talkie time. You know what? I appreciate that, Sardonisms, and that's fair. I appreciate that you appreciate this time, and I'm happy to have you here. I don't think you're lagging too far behind, because I feel like you're responding to what I say pretty quickly. But, hey, nothing wrong with missing a couple seconds of the sprinty spront time. It is really good. If you ever have marinara sticks... or not marinara sticks, if you have marinara sticks. If you ever have mozzarella sticks and just honey mustard laying around, top notch. Imagine you cook the nuggets and then put the nuggets in a dish, top them with the marinara sauce, then top that with cheese and put it in the oven. I mean, that's basically chicken parmesan. It's a real thing, and it's delicious. You should have it. Alright, I'm gonna clicky clacky. Well, you guys can continue to talk about food, I guess. Now I'm getting hungry. We are making me hungry. Whoops. I keep leaving letters out of words today. It's pretty funny. It just said kingdom instead of kingdom. It's so weird to be writing a war that's being fought by ponies, but this is what we committed to doing. I've taken something cute and I've made it somewhat dark, and I guess people like this sort of thing. Oh my goodness. right. I'm almost at the end. We are at 3,569 words. There's 3,569 for the stream. And I am at the juicy part that I was excited to get to. So we're almost finished. We'll definitely be able to wrap this up during the next sprint. I'm excited. I'm excited about how this silly little fanfic is going. In just a second learned that one-man bobsleigh is called a monobob. Now everyone has that knowledge. I did not know that either. Now we all know. Nice. Peter, thank you for that beautiful message sent to this chat. Oh my goodness. What a morning. Cheers, Mad Lad. How's it going out there in Lurkland? If you would like to let us know. A dubla. A dubla. Dune and Dune. Sometimes it surprises me how excited I get over this silly little fanfic, but also at the same time, one of the reasons why I started doing shorts and freebies for my blog is just to have a time to do fun stuff that doesn't have a ton of pressure and I can just do whatever I want and it doesn't have to make sense. And I do find that fun. I do find it fun to write this silly little pony story that, I mean, it's not that the story itself doesn't have stakes, but, you know, if I get it wrong, whatever, it's just a freebie for my blog. And it just reinvigorates my love of the craft, honestly. Going well, how are you all today? I am doing pretty good, Mad Lad. It's gonna be a rough couple days for me because Ghost Pepper is at camp. That is setting in for me, that he is at camp. He's not gonna be coming home tonight. I gotta keep my own schedule all by myself. I gotta remember to eat. I gotta remember to sleep. I gotta remember to have a schedule. It's tough, but we'll get there. Now that Domerin has appeared in the My Little Pony universe, which for legal reasons isn't a MLP story, but what if Domerin was captain of the USS Enterprise? There is a space version of Domerin. It's not Star Trek related, but there is a space version of Domerin. No Gunpla stream tonight. No Gunpla stream tonight, unfortunately, because Ghost Pepper's out of town. He's not even coming home tonight. He is gone tonight and tomorrow, and he gets home on Thursday, which I imagine he's going to be pretty tired. I don't know for sure, but I think it's a grade 10 trip, so I think he is away for 3 days with the grade 10s. They'll get back on the third night. But there won't be any Winds of Chaos this week either, because that is the night that Ghost Pepper's getting home, and he has to teach on Friday. So sadly, no Gunpla stream. Wolf is, I believe, planning to stream tonight, and I am planning to go hang out with him when I finish eating. Not sure what time that is happening or what he's planning to do on stream, but if you guys are looking for a place to hang out, I will be hanging out with It's Wolf. Oops. Did I spell that right that time? That's Wolf's channel, if you're looking for him. I think he's lurking, but I don't know if he's listening, so I don't know if he is going to answer about what his plan is. He'll probably play a game. I'll probably be doing some book stuff in the background. But that will be happening. I know a lot of you guys usually hang out on me and Wolf's streams. It won't be a modeling stream, to clarify. Wolf does not do modeling. But for those who like to hang out in the club, we will be having a mini club tonight. Ghost will be back next week, though. It is planned to resume modeling. He did do some model painting yesterday because he actually had off work yesterday for Family Day. And he did do some painting on his plane. I forget. Is it an F-19? I forget which plane it is exactly, but he posted a picture in the Discord. He did some painting on it yesterday. It looks really good. He got that white coat down and got those panel lines still looking crisp, so he has been doing some model stuff, but unfortunately he's just not going to be around this week. He's not going to be around. He's got to take care of these kids. He got to take care of these kids. F all the numbers. Say the word library correctly. That'll call him out. Yeah, if you say library, he will get upset. He is doing a Macross one, but I don't think the plane, the one that he posted a picture of, I don't think is a Macross one. I think it's just a plane. Where is it? Did he say which thing it is? I'm in the wrong area. He didn't say which one it is, but there's a picture from yesterday in the Builders and Crafters of the plane. This isn't the one that transforms, it's just the static plane. He does have a bunch of stuff on the go. He has a Macross one. He has the Fox Girl. He has the submarine for the dimensional space submarine thing from Yamato for Bard. And he has the plane. So he has 4 things that he's working on right now. I think I'm gonna work on my short story today. I keep putting it off. I'm trying to write a poetry anthology, and I want to print and receive a copy of it before June 1st, my birthday. That's my goal. Then I have a secondary goal of trying to write a musical in the month of June. You're gonna wait. You're giving yourself 4 months to write a poetry anthology and only 1 month to write a musical? You're only giving yourself 1 month to write a whole musical? Call it a poetry anthology, but it's going to be a combination of poems and short stories. I love both of these goals, Mad Lad, but you might need to give yourself more than a month. Poetry anthology started September last year. You might need more than a month to write an entire musical. I have never written a musical before. I don't know how long it takes, but I'm gonna guess longer than a month. Especially if you're gonna do the music. Are you gonna do like scores and everything? Like orchestral scores? I need deets. I need deets. The F-16, that's the one. Shadowbug knows. The F-16 is the one he posted a picture of yesterday. It looks really good. I don't remember. I do think he posted a picture of the first attempt at airbrushing, but I saw both in person, and I can say that the second attempt at airbrushing looks really good. It looks really smooth. So I think he's happy with it. He's just kind of feeling his way through a bunch of new stuff. I'm gonna pause the timer and take a quick break. I'm gonna run to the washroom, reheat my coffee one last time before we do our final sprint here. We've got one 30-minute sprint left, so this will be the final sprint after break. We are going to be hanging out in the underwater city for Sardonisms, because I missed seeing that when we were setting up for the last one. So we are going to be in the underwater city. But if somebody would like to redeem a spirit companion or a activity, those are both available for the final redeems. Otherwise, I'll just pick something. Should treat the 1,200 as a feral time pizza budget. The 1,200 that I got for my computer? I'm not gonna spend my emergency computer money on pizza. There's plenty of regular money for pizza. But also, I can't eat pizza because it has cheese on it. I will write a whole score alongside it, not sure on the instrumentation yet. Good luck, Mad Lad. I do hope you give yourself more than a month for that. But that sounds amazing. What's the musical going to be about? What the USAF picked over the X-17 as the next fighter jet that was supposed to be a small fighter. Yes, the jet that yes, the F-16. Sounds like a perfect time to eat cheese and get sick. So that you have an even harder time following my schedule. I've got a musical in me somewhere, probably. I get big visualizations when I'm listening to actual songs, so when it comes to write those scenes, I'm like that one song from Grease, but different. Alright, I had to take a quick break. When I get back, we're going to set up for the final sprints. Hopefully hear what Mad Lads musical is going to be about, and then we will finish up, because then I gotta eat some food. I gotta remember to eat today, guys. That's the big goal. Remember to eat at decent times. So I'll be right back. I'm back! I get distressed every time the Olympics comes around because the first 4 notes of the Olympic anthem sound like the opening of O Canada, and honestly, I get disappointed that it's not O Canada. O Canada is a lovely song. That is for sure. Alright, I will grab the octopus. I will grab La Octopus. I will gently reach around my microphone to grab my glasses. Now I'm a nerdy octopus. Deal with it. Deal with it! Does the octopus have a name? No? I mean, it's technically supposed to be Starborn Striker. It's supposed to be my name. It's supposed to be my avatar. I have not seen anything related to the Olympics, if I'm 100% honest. I do not pay attention to sports, and the Olympics does somewhat pass me by. Let's see. My glasses are crooked. There we go. We have a request for the sea. And I will assume we want the evening sea, maybe? So we can see the glowy fishes? Do the fish glow in the evening? Oh, they only glow at night. They don't do the glowy at the evening, but they glow at night. So for now, unless we hear from Sardonisms, we'll put it at the night so that we can see the fish glow. Night is good. Heck yeah. You skipped the message where I posted what it was about. I already have the musical planned. It's going to be based on the Apollo and the Hyacinth myth. So it won't be much longer, I think, than like 10 songs. Is that the one where he chases a nymph and she turns into a tree so that she doesn't have to be with him? It is never rude to let me know that I missed a message, Mad Lad. I do miss messages sometimes. That is fair. If you've never seen a XF-17, that became the F-18 Hornet. I think I've seen an F-18 Hornet, actually, after its airframe strengthened and landing gear was beefed up to handle the hard landings on carriers. It was no longer the F-17 Cobra 2. It became the F-18, then the FA-18 Hornet. I think we saw a demonstration by a Hornet once. Is that when the dudes didn't jump in and this wee one bobsledder had to take the bobsled by himself? What? 3 of the 4 ended up tripping and fell out of the sled at the start of their run, and the driver just glanced back to see that he was the only one in the sled. He did an excellent job of keeping the sled upright and under control. That sounds terrifying. Poor guy. Now, did they get disqualified for not having all of their people in? Like, did it still count? Because I'm assuming it was accidental that they didn't get in. I'm assuming. But is it cheating if you don't have all 4 people in? I don't know much about bobsledding except that it's, like, horribly dangerous. Hyacinth was a really attractive Spartan man who had 2 gods. Oh, hang on. This is going to take more than 6 seconds. Hyacinth was a really attractive Spartan man who had 2 gods and a mortal in love with him. He chose Apollo, and they were deeply in love. I haven't heard this one. In some versions of the myth, Hyacinth was killed by the jealousy of the god Zephyrus, the other god in love with Hyacinth. But either way, he dies. Apollo tries everything to keep him alive, but it's futile, and as such, using Hyacinth's blood, Apollo turns him into a flower. Ironically, not the modern Hyacinth we know today. Interesting. A lot of people becoming plants in Greek mythology. Just a lot of people becoming plants. There was Narcissus, became a plant. There was that lady who was running away from Apollo, became a tree. And I believe that Aphrodite, because this is very similar to the Adonis myth, in which Aphrodite took the blood of Adonis and used it to make a flower as well. Ironically. As he got near the end of the track, the driver scooted to the back and people thought he was going to jump, but instead he applied the brakes to bring the sled to a safe stop. Dang! That sounds downright heroic. I don't think the team were disqualified due to it being an accident. Well, good on him. That had to be the most terrifying run of his life. I guess maybe they have training for if something goes wrong, what you're supposed to do, but that sounds terrible. Also, can you tell I don't know how to spell hyacinth? Listen, I don't know how to spell it either. So we're all good here. Alright, I'm gonna pop up that final sprint notification. We've got our nice underwater city. We got our fishes hanging out with us here. We've done 5 minutes of glasses time, but I will give you probably the whole sprint in the octopus, let's be honest. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do the final sprinty spront. Let's finish this scene. Let's finish this story arc. Got my other special edition Murderbot diaries. Heck yeah. The two guys behind the driver just for ballast weight and to keep the sled stable. Yeah, so I can imagine being the only guy in a sled would be terrifying. Because you're way underweight at that point. And those things are dangerous if they crash. I do know that. This far into a conversation about sleds and that one of you has said cool runnings. Listen, I've thought about it. I've thought about it several times. Thank you for the save alert, Shadowbug. I am hitting the save button. I'm hitting it several times just to be sure. And all of you, if you're working on something, you should hit the save button. Alright, that scene is finished at 4,091 words, and then I have just a tiny bit extra to add, so let me grab a chant break. Officially, I am not on the tea train, but I have drunk at least some cups of tea of my own volition and activity. Well, congrats, Peter. Cheers. Grayson Hayes, welcome in. Thank you for the raid. How's it going? How was your stream? Got a decent amount of writing done? Heck yeah! Glad to hear it. If you'd like to tell us what you were working on, feel free. Also, if you need to do some post-stream care, totally understand. If you need to get up, stretch, move around, grab something to eat and or drink. But we appreciate the raid. We appreciate you coming by. Okay, I am actually finished. This is 4,768 words, which is more than enough for another installment of this story. That's gonna push us over 60K for the whole thing. And that wraps up, I think, the first major story arc. We're at, like, the big kind of turning point. That puts us, that last scene is, what am I saying? 674 words for the last scene, they added in there. So just a little extra one, but I feel like it caps off what is hopefully the midpoint. And I am very, very happy with that progress. Heck yeah. Have to read and run, but I'll pass along some good writing vibes. Hope your stream goes well. No worries, Grayson. Thank you so much again for the raid and for stopping by, and have a fabulous rest of your day. I'm gonna catch up on chat so that we can read out when we're done here. We went from going, wow, this series is so good, it would be great if it had a special edition, to 2 companies going pre-orders for our special edition will be up in November. Heck yeah! Bobsleds aren't dangerous, it's skeleton sleds that are dangerous. Oh, interesting. For some reason I'm thinking about the Half Mynad character I was toying with ideas for like 16 years ago. Ideas will always come back eventually. Remember that one year during warm-up, one skeleton sledder for the manse was killed on the track when his sled became unstable and launched over the barrier where he slammed full speed into a concrete pillar? I vaguely do think I remember that. This special edition of Murderbot put the whole original quartet in one big book. The novel in one book, the last 2 novellas in a 3rd book. The other special edition was 4 books, matching how the paperback editions were set up. I see. They say fact and history is decided by the victor. Well, color me victorious, because I'm going to tell you the story, and it will be what history remembers. Ooh! I like that, Mad Lad. I do like that. Very like that indeed. It sounds like it's something that Mad Lad just wrote, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm gonna take the Zephyrus route. He was the embodiment of the west wind, and so in the myth he blows off course Apollo's chariot, I assume. It changes sometimes, but it's discussed sometimes it's a quiet ring toss, but either way it's blown off course and bludgeons Hyacinth. Oh, I see. He blows off course Apollo's ring toss, and it bludgeons Hyacinth. That's horrible, man. The Greek gods were dicks. The Greek gods were dicks. I'm going to take off the octopus now as well. We will finish off stream without the octopus. I'm just unsure how I want to add my touch to the myth. I have the story, but any good musical adaptation would take the myth as inspiration and change the story to tell a different moral or fit modern audiences. Indeed, that is usually, if you're working with the myth, you usually will work in your own twist. I'm very curious to see which way you go with it, Mad Lad. I'd love to see like the songs and stuff when you're done. Did you see that wild octopus lady who was just in your office? Yes, I did. She seemed very friendly and very cool. That timer is about to wrap up here, so I am going to, because we are quite late, I am going to begin the closing spiel. This is it for me today. We wrote so many words, 4,768 words. A fine amount. Tomorrow we are going to be doing edits. In fact, both tomorrow and Thursday we're going to be working on editing the Celestial Serenade, which is my big editing project for the year. Getting that final for realsies trilogy of the Celestial Serenade wrapped up. And I believe next week we're going to finish the first book in that trilogy and start going through the outline for the second book, which I think is a dumpster fire, so that's going to be interesting. But yeah, that's going to be happening. So I will be back tomorrow and Thursday at 10:30 a.m. PST. I will do my best to be as on time as possible. Please bear with me this week, as I will be running wildly off schedule due to the fact that Ghost Pepper's not around. But we will be streaming as regular tomorrow and Thursday mornings. I should be over on It's Swift's channel later tonight. I did do a quick shout out for him. Don't know what like the overall plan is, but I think we're just going to be chilling out, chatting with each other. I'm probably actually going to be doing work on a paperback in the background while he's working on something else. So that's going to be happening tonight over on his channel if you're looking for more of me. Unfortunately, Ghost is out of town, so I won't be doing my usual hangout with him. And we won't be having the usual Winds of Chaos because Ghost Pep's going to be tired when he gets home. But you will find me and Woof on his channel again on Saturday night at 7:30 p.m. PST for the regular Clurb. And as always, I think I said this already, but as always, I'll be starting tomorrow and the next day at 10:30 a.m. PST. If I say it enough times, I might actually be on time. I wrote 379 words and named one of the characters. First person POV says I don't have to name the other one yet. Heck yeah, that's a good number, a good solid number of words, Sardinisms. Tomorrow there will be significantly more grunting and wait, what? I mean, that could be any day, really. 4K words is wild! I mean, there were some wild words, for sure. I'm happy with how the story is progressing. Oh no, the person I was gonna raid finished streaming! Oh no! Hang on. Hang on, we gotta change. We gotta redirect. We gotta do something else. Oh noes. Oh noes. The person I was gonna raid wrapped up. My goodness. So I think we're just gonna go, I think we might just go raid Comf. I know we've been raiding Comf a lot lately, but she was AFK for a while, and I'm just so happy that she's back. So we might go say hi again. I started reading a book where when a snowstorm hit, they rearranged people to live together and actually deliberately got people with staggered sleep schedules so someone could always watch the fire. That makes so much sense because you need that. Tell my boss I forgot to take a break this afternoon. I kind of took a break to unpack my murder bot. I just didn't step away from the computer. It counts, right? I mean, doesn't that mean you could just take your break now? I don't know how it works. I don't know how it works, but I'm not gonna tattle. Let's go say hey to Comf, one of the coziest, nicest streamers that I know, doing some co-working and other fun stuff during breaks. I will be back tomorrow. Whoops. In case you have my emotes and would like to use them, and in case you don't have my emotes and would like to use something else. Guys, this is your daily reminder to take care of yourself. Remember to eat, to sleep, to drink, to get up and move around from time to time. I've got to remember to do all these things because I'm not going to have someone around to remind me. And it's hard. It's hard to take care of these bodies, but you've got to do it because you're amazing and you're wonderful and I love you and I want you to be around for a long, long, long time to come. Imagine taking advantage of the variance in human sleep schedules instead of trying to force everyone onto the same arbitrarily determined correct sleep schedule. Imagine the possibilities of just letting people do the thing that makes the most sense for them. Guys, I will hopefully see you tomorrow. Until then, I wish you the best of productivity, creativity, and just general relaxivity. And if I don't see you tomorrow, I hope to see you again very soon. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for your patience and for always hanging out with me. This was tons of fun, and we'll do it again soon.